Okay, back to continue our lipid discussion. We looked at our lipids. We talked about fatty acids, our triglycerides, saturated, unsaturated. We look at sort of body fat composition, that kind of stuff. Well, we transition now to a very different category of lipids we're going to call steroids. And again, a lot of you may have a misconception or a different view of what steroids are. Right? A lot of you know about the anabolic steroids, these illegal steroids. Well, biologically speaking, steroids are simply signaling molecules. They are triggers. They are molecules that trigger other reactions to happen. Right? So steroids as signaling molecules, and this lipid category that is sort of critical for this this trigger. If you know something about a race, right? So runners to your marks, get set. It's the shot that starts the race, right? That's what steroids do. They signal certain physiological actions to happen in the body. Can they be abused? Yes. I mean, they can be used illegally. They can be used beyond what the body requires. But understand that we all right now have steroids in our system. Right? You may have heard of cholesterol. Cholesterol is a very vital steroid. And right now, this very instant, your liver is creating cholesterol. So cholesterol produced naturally by the liver, it is required in moderate amounts. And it's going to be part of our membranes, which we're going to cover a little bit later. And it's also part of the production of many of our hormones. So we can't have certain hormones without first having these steroids. And cholesterol is a very vital beginning molecule for these important hormones. Right? So steroids as signals, steroids signaling certain reactions, steroids then being changed, being modified to make hormones, which then can secondarily trigger other reactions or stimulate other types of metabolic processes. So I want us to get this visual, let's look at this visual shape of cholesterol. I hope you notice this doesn't look very similar to those fatty acids, that long hydrocarbon chain. These are not long linear molecules, they're rings. It looks like kind of like a honeycomb shape. Right, so these honeycombs, we got a little bit of variation there, but kind of get that mental image of what a steroid looks like. We're going to see variations on this theme, but it will look kind of similar. So cholesterol. Once cholesterol is produced, it signals certain reactions to happen, and then it will be modified depending on genetics, depending on other hormone signals in the body as well. So cholesterol is required for the synthesis of hormones. Hormones are then these sort of endocrine molecules from the endocrine system that send different signals, different information throughout the body and trigger other reactions as well. So without cholesterol, we cannot have testosterone. Without cholesterol, we cannot end up with estradiol, progesterone, different other various hormones. But again, I want you to see that shape, that honeycomb shape. We see that honeycomb shape, that honeycomb shape, honeycomb shape. So these are all variants of that original cholesterol molecule. And we associate the androgen hormones for the male physique, the estrogens for the female physique as well. So not too different, right? Not too different. Functional groups in different locations, different variations here, but you know, these hormones have a very drastic effect on the human body, but they themselves are not that different from each other. Right? They're generated by this cholesterol molecule, this lipid molecule, these steroids. Now, a couple of important signals that happen in our lives, right? So let's first look at this default sex. So early in development, the child is developing early in embryonic development is neither male nor female, right? They're we're starting this sort of sexless development, and then we start to get the development of the female, right? So we can see here that original sex, if no signal is generated, if we get no steroid signal, the default sex in human is to convert into a female, right? So you can see the different anatomical parts develop into the female anatomy, right? That's the default sex. So all of us, males and females, started out first not sort of coded, and then we start to develop the female system, right? If we don't get any steroid signals, we continue as female. If we do get that signal, we're triggered to shift over here to the male anatomy. So all you males out there, right? You are male because you got that certain lipid steroid signal to trigger testosterone, right? So again, we all started life as female as far as when we were embryonically developing, right? So sexless and then female. So every one of us and is listening here started the female default pattern. What changed that was then that steroid signal, the testosterone. So that machismo guy, the most machismo grandpa that you can think of, they were female at one point, right? So right now, a lot of fuss is being made of transgendered individuals. Well, every single male out there is transgendered because we started life as female, and then we changed to male. So that's that default sex pattern. That's an important signal early in life. Another important signal happens at puberty. So at puberty, around 13 years old or so, we get another steroid signal, and lipids start to become more prominent. If you remember when you were going through puberty, you're all oily and greasy, all those lipids, all that testosterone. Males, we start to get that little bit of growth spurt. You're looking in the mirror because you're getting little muscles, you're getting a little facial hair. For some of you males, maybe your voice deepened. My voice didn't deepen that much, I'm sad, but these are these secondary sexual characteristics. Maybe when you were a kid, you had strict rules, no girls allowed, girls have cooties, ooh. And at puberty, it's like, hey guys, maybe we need to re-examine our admission policy. Maybe cooties are not such a bad thing. So again, all of these effects happening at the puberty level. Ladies, I can't speak personally for ladies, but biologically, I know a lot of changes happen in your body. So you go through puberty as well. There's a little growth spurt, muscle physiology changes as well. There's that facial hair, at least, maybe some of y'all get facial hair. And then that we call the menarche, right? That first menstrual cycle, the ovarian cycle starts to kick in, and that's got to be strange, right? I'm sorry, but man, you're just like, ooh, I'm injured. There's blood. It just got to be weird. Ladies, probably you're used to it at this point, but all of these things happen due to these steroid signals. So again, what makes the human body the human body? These two critical signals that are at specific events and specific times, right? And then they change the sexes of the individuals, the sort of the mentality. A lot of factors are also secondarily sort of linked back to these changes. So if I have males can abuse the steroid effect and add more muscle mass. Or what about ladies? What if a lady says, what, man, I'm not masculine enough. And if they start to abuse then these male-based hormones, if they start to use these androgen-based hormones, their body physically starts to look like a more masculinized version. They get hairy, they get more aggressive, and these factors are, the body doesn't distinguish, the hormone doesn't distinguish if it's in the male body or female body. It's going to have the same biological effect there. So on the flip side, what if somebody is genetically male, but they want to get maybe they want to recontact with their feminine origins. Yeah. So a male body enhancing with the estrogen hormones will have a more feminizing event and an effect on the body. So again, all these individuals, I don't know if you know Caitlyn Jenner, man, he was on the box of my Wheaties when I was a kid. Like, oh, you know, Bruce Jenner, and you look at him now, like, or her now, I don't know. Just a lot of these individuals from television shows that you may be familiar with, males, but again, trying to reconnect with their feminine sort of origins, enhancing with estrogen. So coming back here, we know that the human body is a product of your genes, but it's also a product of the hormones, right? And how these hormones are triggering certain muscle development effects, you know, behavioral effects, and they shift, right? And you know, maybe your mothers are getting to that point where it might be freezing cold outside, but they're so hot because now their hormone levels are shifting and changing, going through that sort of menopausal states, also having an impact on bone density and other things as well. So again, we are products of our genetics and of our steroid signals that trigger our body to look the way it does. Right? And with that, let me stop this presentation. A little bit more to go. I'll try to get those. I don't know if I can get those today. If not, you'll see these on Monday. But with that, thank you all, and you'll have a good rest of your day.